Welcome to this episode of Obscure Hotline. I am Bronson, one of the hosts. I have the channel Audio Hotline on YouTube, and this is...
Struggle is real. It's Bark from Obscure Mics.
Yep. Dude, it's just... It's always going to be difficult for me. Honestly, you should probably just do the intros because you'll say it better than I do. But
that's debatable. Yeah. That is debatable.
I think that an important element of this episode in particular is what we're using. So let's just go right for it. Let's just start it off. You can go ahead and tell the people what we're using.
All right. So I am using, and I should be able to actually get it on. I'm using the Zoom F3, which is, a new device to me. So I don't have much to say about it quite yet. And using a SEV7, which I was excited to get, and I'll share why my excitement has been tempered now that I've had this microphone for a minute. So on to you, my good BVW.
So I am using what we call the Zoom F3, and I'm also using the SEV7. We planned this. We planned something.
We absolutely did. We could have done Tayuns and V7s, but we didn't.
But we did not. Dude, I got to tell you, I did a test the other day between like $150 interface and the Tayun. I've got to send it to you. It's noticeable. It is actually noticeable. I was surprised.
What was noticeable?
How much better the preamp was in a more expensive device.
Oh, well, yeah, of course.
But I mean, like, $30, it's still like absolutely worth $30. But I was just like, I wasn't expecting as big of a difference though, because when I hear it by itself, I'm like, yeah, no, like it sounds good. But then like in comparison, I'm like, oh yeah, it lacks a little in the low. And it kind of sounds like when you record straight into your phone sort of a thing. You know what I mean? Like it kind of has that feel to it a little bit, but better than that.
I feel like, after extended use, I feel like the Tayun made a lot of microphones sound alike when they shouldn't have sounded alike.
That makes sense to me. Yeah, I get that.
So started noticing that. But
sure.
When you get in a $20, $30 device and you hook it up and it works and an SM7B works, you're like, oh,
dude, you're like, hell yeah, absolutely.
And still, like that device for me or you, multi-mic users, maybe not a great idea, but for someone who is going to go with one mic, stick with one mic, and something sounds good on it and it can drive it.
Yeah, do it.
Still saving people money. Just looking out for the people.
Looking out. But I was thinking about getting another UM2 and then an M Audio M-Track Solo, and then have the Tayun and just like versus the three of them and see what it sounds like.
That's a good idea.
I think
that's a really good idea.
Yeah,
I could kind of do that now because I have the Tayun and I do have a UM2. I bought I can't help myself. Like I found a UM2, tax and all, shipped to me, $20. I'm like, how can I not?
Yeah.
Just a package with a mic and resell. And I've got the M Audio Fast Track 2, which I swear to God, the internals have to be the exact same as the M Audio Solo because it has the same stepping issue.
Yeah.
The gain is almost the same. Everything about it, same hookup, same everything different. Plastic body. So I could almost do that.
The only one that I actually don't have is currently a UM2 because I did do a giveaway like a while back and I gave it away. But yeah, let's talk about what you were going to say about the SEV7 a little bit.
I'm coming to the realization that let me preface this. You watch audio review channels. Podcastage for one, and a slew of others.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of beat into your head that flat is better.
Yes. Yeah.
And when you start listening to microphones, I ended up coming to the conclusion that I was in agreement. I did like flat better than modern sounding or V-shaped, and through the years, I have come to determine that my preferred sound is actually V-shaped. I like low end and I like top end, and I like the broadcasty sound.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't mean I don't like flat mics. Like I still can appreciate it, an NT1, even though it's not nearly as flat as people say.
Yeah.
The SM7B, stuff like that, flat. Like this is not flat, but this has almost that same dull quality to me as an SM7B. Like there's just nothing exciting to me about this microphone. Does it sound good? Yeah. Does it sound better than cheap dynamics? Yes.
Yeah.
Is it like the handheld dynamic to own? For me, no. I'm not getting it. I'm not feeling it or understanding.
Yeah.
Like I know it's quality and I know it sounds good, but to me, overrated. I don't love it. I thought I'd love it. It was almost like, and I say this in the video that I've got ready to roll out on this, it's almost like a great movie or album or book that somebody overhypes to where it can't be delivered on.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like the V7 is. I feel like it's so overhyped by the audio community that when I plugged it in, I was like, what is big deal?
Yeah. No, I get you. I have a couple ways of looking at this. And I mean, I think to a certain degree, I do agree with what you're saying. Like, there are some microphones that I'll review and it'll have like a boost in the high end and you can tell that there's like a little bit more bass. And I'm like, yeah, this is like pleasant. This sounds good. But I do think that I understand the whole like neutral liking flat side of it too. And
me too.
Yeah, like
I do.
I get it. It makes sense. But I think that the big deal with the SEV7 is this. I think that a lot of people could grab an SEV7 and sound pretty good on it.
That's the same with the SM7B.
Yeah.
And I understand that fully. Like,
and so I think that maybe it's like, yeah, it's not super like pleasant and it's not like incredible. But I think that like with a little bit of work and like a lot easier work than, for instance, other microphones, that you can get a really good sound with it. So I kind of like, I'm with you. I'm like, I'm not blown away when I listen back to this microphone. No, I'm not. But like, I think that, like, for instance, when I did do a video the other day. Oh no, it's about to come out. And I put the SEV7 against like this microphone, the AT 2020 USB X. And as I was like editing this video, I was like, you know what? Like, just out of curiosity, I'm wondering if I could get this dynamic to sound a little bit more similar to a condenser just with post-processing. I didn't put it in the video, but I was just messing around. And yeah, dude, like editing and post-processing this microphone was similar to what you're saying, kind of like the SM7B, where it's a little bit easier to pick out what you don't want and what you do want. And sometimes with other microphones, it's like, it's kind of hard to tell. And there's just like a slew of like harsh and weird frequencies coming at you. And this one, I didn't feel that way. But I agree with like what you're saying. And I also understand both, I kind of understand both sides. And I do, in the biggest way, understand with concerts. If I was going to own a venue and I was like, okay, there's a dynamic microphone that I need that's going to sound good on a lot of different voices, I might lean toward this, because if you got like a little 3-band EQ, I think you could get this microphone to sound pretty good on a majority of voices versus other ones, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it does. And I agree on that. Actually, like if I was running some kind of a production and I needed to grab a mic that would sound good on whoever walked into that production, SM7B, V7, NT1, that's the way to go. I would not dare grab, like I've mentioned it a million times about, like the Mackie EM89D, because it's kind of V-shaped. It's kind of got some bottom and some top, and it's just kind of, different. I wouldn't grab that for just anyone. It's a good mic. I wouldn't grab that for just anyone. Like that's for me. So with the V7, like, I agree. This is a safe grab. If someone's coming into your studio and you don't know what mic to use, you grab what's safe. So as far as like $99 that you can suggest to everyone, I agree with that. And then the flip side is I was excited about it for me. And for me, I don't love it. Like it is just fine. But as like a grab for multi vocal purposes. Like Sarah's coming in, grab the V7. Johnny's coming in, grab the V7. I'm coming in, now I'll take something else.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, dude,
Good
it's
mic, just not for me.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is like it becomes kind of hard when I do get asked, and I'm sure it's the same for you, when you get asked for like microphone recommendations and everything. You're just like, I've never heard your voice, bro. Like and that's the funny thing is like, I've listened to your voice so many times now that I feel like I could make a microphone recommendation to the point that I'm like, hey, when you use this on this episode, I liked the way it sounded more than this, and, but I guess you don't always have that if you are running like a production, but yeah, dude, it is good. Like I do like it, and I like it more than the outdated SM58, and I think
me too.
Yeah. And I think that's where I kind of sit is I'm like, I'm not absolutely crazy about a lot of $100 handheld dynamic microphones when it comes to just like out of the box sounding great,
Right.
But dude, speaking of handhelds that I don't like, have you ever tried the blue handheld microphones that are around like 100?
I have not.
Oh, dude, I fucking hate them, dude. Oh, hate them.
I've not messed with hardly any blue mics at all.
Yeah.
Like for some reason, I just have no interest. Like I'm sure some of them punch well above their weight. I've heard good things about the Spark for the money.
Yeah.
I'm sure some of them are fine. I've never seen a deal that made me be like, oh, I got to have that blue. The only blue I want is your cat.
Dude, exactly. And that's the thing. I like really wanted to love blue because of my cat, Blue. But I don't know. Like the Blue Ember, I honestly think that's one of those reviews that if I were to go back and redo, I'd probably feel a little bit different on. I believe I compared it to the AT2020 and I picked the Ember over it. I can't remember for sure, but I might still do that. I'm not crazy about the 2020, but
no, me neither.
The mic or the year, for that matter. And
both of them suck.
Yeah,
both of them suck.
Yeah. The blue mics so far, I'm not crazy about. I think that they kind of are overrated. And I mean, the Yeti did that though, and the Snowball did that. But
yeah, and when you think about how old the Yeti is, and when it came out, and what it does, and what it sounds like I get that it was popular, and I get that it, and to be fair, it doesn't sound terrible. No. Like I understand, it's just in the 2020s, we should have moved on from that.
Yes, I agree.
That should be one of those mics from the past that was good for a while and served its purpose, and now we've got way better things for less money.
Absolutely.
I mean, okay. Have you used the shiny chrome condenser I sent you yet?
Yes, I have.
Can you give me some Braun thoughts? Give me some Braun thoughts on that thing.
So that comparison that I sent you with the USB X, the palette cleanser was that microphone.
Okay.
And so, dude, no, for like $25 to $40, like impressive. I will say, and the build, it's like nuts, dude. And like the fact that it has like the logo like engraved into it, I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like this is unreal, dude, that's wild. Like it makes me wonder, like, did they originally price this at like $80 to $100 and then like it just didn't set, Okay, that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was over, I believe it was over 100 for a minute, and it slowly kind of crept down, and then when it got down to like 10 or 12 of them left in stock is like $25, and it's like,
jeez. What? Yeah,
because someone that watches the channel, Ellis, from the Discord server, he bought one at 100 and he sent it back. He's like, it might be worth 100, but I'm not going to keep it at that price, and I probably wouldn't either because again, the market at that price is robust.
Yes,
super robust. Dynamics condensers robust. $100 is like the sweet spot of like you can find honestly a studio quality mic at that money.
Yeah.
But yeah, something like that, you don't want to keep that price. I actually have another Hang Shangzai microphone, which was their top of the line. I don't have it now. Hang Shangzai. That's my interpretation of it. No company rep has reached out to me and said that that's the case.
Yeah.
But I got their top of the line. They had 3 mics on Amazon. They had the handheld condenser that you've got. They have the DR55, which looks like an Aston Spirit or Origin with like the wavy grill thing.
Gotcha.
Spoilers for all these videos. It was absolutely the worst microphone I've ever tested in my life. And it was the mid-range. Worst microphone I've ever tested, period. It was pure garbage. But again, it had this big, huge plate at the top with engraved Hang Shangzai DR55. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Like parts of the mic were beautiful. And I was like, oh, this thing's going to be sweet. And I plugged it up and I was like, I'm sending this back. It's broken. And then I got the next one back and I plugged it in. And I was like, okay, it's not broken. It just sucks. And then so Big Duck on our Discord server confirmed that it was a small, tiny little electric with the little 5-pin holes. One of those little bastards in there.
14 millimeter? Yeah.
14 millimeter capsule, sounded like total ass. So I sent it back and it was like $37. Came with a freaking great universal shock mount, whole 9 yards. I was like, do I really want to send it back or do I want to mod it? And I was like, I'm just going to send it back. So I get the top of the line one. The top of the line one I got for $80, I think, came in a metal case, universal shock mount pop filter, heavy build quality, ingrained Hang Shangzai up and down the side, large diaphragm capsule. Thing looked like a $500 Lewitt or more.
Damn.
And felt like a $500 microphone. Like everything about it was premium. I plugged it in. To be fair, it was solid.
Yeah.
Like pretty solid. But the handheld sounded better.
What?
I was like, dude, how is the lowest, like, how's their bottom of the line? Did they just mess up and like, oops, we made this one the best?
Yeah.
Oopsie.
Dude, what the hell?
Like I could use that mic with no issues or qualms. Like,
yeah,
I could use that handheld. It wouldn't bother me, but there's nothing to me that is glaringly bad about it. Like nothing amazing, but there's nothing glaringly bad. Like I would never turn anyone off using that mic.
No, I agree with that. And honestly, in that comparison that I did, I'm like, here's like a $25 handheld condenser and it sounds better than a lot of the USB microphones that were like, anywhere from
all of
70
which were like
to
100.
Yeah.
Yeah. 70 to, yeah.
Yep. 70 to 100 50 to 150. Yeah. And one of which we liked more than
I still can't believe that actually.
Of course, can't either.
No spoilers, but I still can't. But at the same time I can, because you use a mic like the one we like the most, unnamed mic from, what do we want to call those companies? Is it fair to call them third-rate companies? Can we at least say it's from a third-rate company?
I would say that's fair. Yeah.
I think that's fair. It doesn't sound glowing because a few of these third-rate companies are extremely approachable about their products.
Yeah.
And they will improve, and it's exciting, actually. But some of these third-rate microphone companies are putting out stuff that sounds a lot better than you remember. And then you throw it back in the mix with some other stuff, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That's the best one.
Dude.
I hate Audio-Technica mics. I just got to throw that out there. I don't like them.
I mean, the only way that I can look at it right now is the only Audio-Technica microphone that I've ever liked has always started at around $200 and up. And everything below that, well, I didn't mind the AT210 or 2010 for the price. It was fine. But anything below like 180, 200 range, I've never really liked. I like the AT4040, and they do have this short shotgun microphone that's pretty solid. It's like the AT875R or something like that. Pretty solid for the $180 price tag or whatever. But other than that, dude, I'm like, I don't know, like, until you get really high end, I guess, like, I'm just not crazy about a lot of it.
Yeah. And when I say I hate the AT mics, it's the popular ones.
Yeah.
It's the 2020, it's the 2100X, it's the, and I don't hate that mic, but
it's just not great.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
There are better options for the price. for sure.
They're better options for less.
Yes.
Just about everywhere. So those brand names probably won't have many issues because they're brand names.
Yeah.
And they're what people know.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, like, I don't care about spoiling anything because we got, not too many subs or anything, not a lot of people. Anyone who graces us with their presence and letting us be inside of them during this podcast, like, they're welcome to have
a bone thrown at them or in them.
Yeah, so the AT2020 USB-X is awful for the price. Like, it's not, well, awful is harsh, but it's not good for the price at all. $150
From
is
your
rough.
test, I'm going to say awful.
Yeah, that's fair. And
because it was not any better than it was not any better than this.
Which mic is that? Which mic is that?
I don't know. It says it's Locher. I just grabbed
okay.
it. It was in a box of random stuff that I got. Like, I bought a microphone lot and this was in there. And I plugged this up to my phone today and messed around with it. I was like, I could totally record on that, no problem. I've never heard of Locher.
I think Amazon Basics makes that exact same one, and I bought it forever ago. And that actually is a solid microphone, surprisingly. The Amazon Basics one, it's probably the same body, same capsule, same everything.
Probably.
Yeah, dude, that microphone's actually not bad. And when I bought it, I think it was like $20, and they've bumped it up to like 60 or something, I think, now. It's crazy.
But no, that's that it's just not good. For what they're charging for that. I mean, it looks good, looks cool, fancy, all that, but no thanks, man.
Well, and like the microphone we were referring to is the Fifine. I'm trying K678, and it just had like a warmth to it that the other microphones didn't have. Those other microphones just sounded really sterile, like just really blah. But
yeah, if there's not something that stands out, then it's really hard to give something a more than just a passable grade if there's not any, because you really got to you really have to look at prices now. When you said that mic's $150, what would you say you own not a single mic, then you go to the store and you need to record something tonight. And there is a singing machine, dynamic microphone in a clear see-through plastic thing hanging on a rack that you just take the plastic cover off and you've got it in your hand, $20, or you got that mic at $150 at Walmart. What's the price that mic needs to be, the X model that you were talking about from AT? What price does that need to be for you to choose it over the singing machine?
Singing machine?
Yeah, I think because the singing machine's a dynamic. It's probably going to be passable no matter what, because most dynamics are.
Yeah. I would say if the X was priced at $50, that's where I'd be like, okay, the trade-off is good. Like, you know what I mean?
That was my exact thinking. That was my exact number in my head. Yep.
I think that's where it would have to be for me to be like, it's worth paying the extra money. And I might get I'll get a little bit better result probably. But I don't know, man. There were some like sibilance issues that especially with my voice. And I don't know though, like, I don't think that I have a super, super uncommon voice. Like, I think that where my S's hit weird. And everything, like where my S's hit, like a lot of people probably have that same. It's like when I open a de-esser, it's usually the default one is right where mine hit. So, I mean, like, that goes to show that I'm pretty common when it comes to that. So, yeah, dude, but, the sibilance and just like, it was like lispy sounding too. You
are a common bitch, bro.
I'm a basic ass bitch, dude, for sure.
Basic ass bitch. B-A-B.
Bronson, the basic ass bitch. Yep.
I like that idea though. I like the whole putting a price on. I might incorporate that into some videos. Like, you're in Walmart, the singing machine is $20.
Yeah.
The AT2100X handheld, or different mic, is $88.
Yeah.
What are you picking? Yeah. What are you going with? What would I go with?
Yeah, dude, I do like that. And I think that the comparisons do help you kind of realize like, okay, this microphone's this much and this is this much and I like this one more. Why is this price so much more than the one that I liked more, you know? And I do think that like it does come down to preference sometimes and everything, but I also think that a lot of name brand, like very popular microphones are just overpriced, you know?
Yeah.
And it's honestly a little bit of a shame that some some YouTube channels that are no shade on anyone or anything, but like I have noticed that the bigger that some audio channels get, the more they focus on only big names. And like,
Right.
I understand like that's obviously not your thing. And like to a certain degree, I'm fucking reviewing the AT2020 USB X. Like obviously I'm a part of that, but I will also try to be like, oh, this is a microphone that maybe I won't get a ton of views on, but maybe the people that do see it will appreciate it, and maybe it'll save someone some money from buying just another Audio-Technica middle of the line microphone, you know? So
Yeah. And to be fair, you're reviewing what you have interest in. You saw that mic and thought, I've got to know. You know, you have that inkling. I've got to know inkling. And that happens to me a lot. It just so happens my interests are like, Hang Shangzai, yes, give it to me.
Yeah. I was like, I'm interested to see if it's better because I have tried. And that's a big part of it too, is like if I've tried a predecessor or whatever, I'm more likely to want to try the next one to see what they improved, to see and everything like that. And so actually a part of me was like, I'm not really excited. I am curious, but also I know that this is going to get some views, and I hate that I think about that. And sometimes I don't, sometimes I do.
We all do.
You know, but
yeah, we all do. I mean, when I did the K688, my newest video, I was excited as heck because I knew I was going to be first to market on it.
Hell yeah.
And I knew that it would jump out and be one of my more watched videos out of the gate. And it is. And it's still not watched that much, but it is. It still helps. And that's a chance to grab subscribers. That's a chance to grab more of a following. And if we're not interested in a following, then, we could just record these for ourselves.
That's fair. That's fair.
Release them publicly.
Yeah.
Like I don't need to be famous, but I want to find more people to, talk audio with.
Yeah, for sure.
Makes me happy.
Yeah. Like having a community like we've talked about is very fun, and having people you can talk to about similar interests is like, that's fucking one of the best things, you know? But I do want to take it back for a second to the Zoom F3. I think that on an episode, I think it was an episode of our podcast that maybe we got rid of.
We have a podcast?
Something like, I don't know the technical term for it.
I think only 26 people would agree, but
yeah.
Tom Buck being one of them. Thank God.
Dude. Thank you, Tom. And, but I am curious. I think we talked about this a little bit. So we both are using the Zoom F3 right now. And as it stands, the way that I have it set up, I am using it like technically as a 24-bit device right now, in a way, but 32-bit. We've talked about it a little bit, but what's your standing on it? As far as being an audio person that's like looking at newer people coming in, are you being like, oh, you guys are fucking spoiled? Or are you like, dude, hell yeah, just another awesome new thing,
I think I'm more the latter. I think I'm more awesome, something new. Because listen, if you enjoy audio, then surely that doesn't just mean you like recording it. It means you like to hear it too. Mm-hmm. So if there's a device on the market that is going to make a podcast or a production better, because the folks that are using the device are not skilled. Not everyone's skilled. Skills are either God-given, not audio, or learned.
Yeah.
Audio is learned. Audio is a learned skill. So anyone can learn, but I would hate to pass on somebody's production because they hadn't learned enough yet. I would rather enjoy someone's production because they haven't learned, but they have the Zoom F3.
Yeah.
So the learning curve has been shortened. Like I don't have enough experience with it yet to give an opinion on my 32-bit float thoughts. Because I really don't. I've recorded one thing with it. I haven't even thrown it into a DAW. I haven't done anything with it. I just saw this, I saw that it was nice and shiny, and I decided that I was done with the Tascam Mixcast 4. And I was like, I can probably get enough out of the Mixcast 4 to grab that Zoom F3 and see how that is. And I'm like,
word.
Okay.
Worth it.
I have no need for it. Like, no need for it at all. I don't need 32-bit float. But at the same time, when I'm doing a podcast like Hear the Gear, which is basically like Obscure Mics in audio form and shorter form, I thought maybe 32-bit float would benefit me there because I record in less than lovable environments. I just burped.
You're good. This is the Obscure Hotline.
I tell you what, now I had chili for lunch, but I feel like this will help me bang out those quick reportings. Jesus, I can't talk today.
We're struggling.
F3 should help me bang out some quick recordings that I can't possibly screw up, because when I do quick recordings for podcasts, I do quick. Yeah. I like jump into my car, fire it up, start talking. I don't put time into gain staging. Obviously, I'm not going to clip, but
yeah.
I just kind of want the best. I want one device where I can get the best results with the least effort. So
Absolutely.
I kind of want to, I think as an audio person, you should be familiar with all. You should be familiar with a 16-bit device that's not terribly easy to dial into where you want it, and work your way on up and just kind of know the whole spectrum. Why not?
Yeah. I think that a big part of, like, I don't know. I don't understand really the hate for 32-bit float, because like I'm excited about it. I'm excited that it's like a thing that's an option. However, I don't think that everyone needs it. I don't think it's necessary for a lot of people. And I do still
compatible with anything right now.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like right now I can use what can I use? I can use Adobe Audition with 32-bit. And I think that there's another program I have, but it's limited. It is very limited. And like, but also you can just record with your SD card in the F3, which is great. But I don't understand like why people are so like, oh, fucking, you should, if a real pro uses 24-bit, you know, like you got to set your gain. I think that that's silly. I think that people should learn to set their gain, and they should learn how to do that. And like, even when I'm using 32-bit flow, I'm still like setting my gain the way that I would. And I'm like, you know what? It's like a just in case, you know? And I think that's fine. I don't see any harm in that.
Well, once you know how to do it, if it's not something that's just flat out fun, why not progress to the next level?
Yeah. It's just, I don't understand the whole issue surrounding it with professionals being like super hateful about 32-bit float. It reminds me of like film cameras going to digital. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, dude, get over yourself. Like, new shit happens.
And everything is like, you know, making life a little easier and a little better. And I understand I understand why some bands still record to tape and still, you know, record with everyone in the room playing live, but recording. I totally understand. And that's what makes things like the digital age even more amazing, is that you could have a band do a full album live recorded straight to tape, sounds amazing, and you can tell that they were all in there in the moment. And then you could get an album that's just the most sheen, polished production quality. There's so much to like from all of it. The only reason anybody ever shits on what float you're using or digital versus analog, it's just all elitism. It's all just holier than thou bullshit. You know, just people are going to like what they like.
Yeah. And I guess that's fine. It's, I guess the issue that I have where it comes into like people shaming people for having a preference or using certain things. I'm like, dude, I'll not judge you for wanting to set your gain and recording it fucking 16-bit. I don't give a shit, man. Do what you want to do, but then do me or whoever the favor of also not judging what we want to do, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like, I think it's cool. Like, I know of one person in particular that, I mean, I don't know 100%, but I gather from a conversation, I know of one person who kind of quit watching my channel because they had upgraded to more professional equipment, like Telefunken mics, Earthworks mics, best of the best. So I don't need the obscure ones anymore, which is totally understandable. Like, some people do graduate to a level where they're never going to use a cheap or consumer grade mic again. Like, I get that. And I would never judge. Like, if that's where you're at and that's what you want, I was like, that's great, man. Like, that's fantastic. Like, if you feel you have graduated your knowledge to a point to where you can pick out all the subtle differences and you want to spend that kind of dime on that because you're that obsessed with it, absolutely. Like, same goes for videographers. Like, you're not gonna want to use a cell phone when you graduate to some huge Black Magic or Red. Is it Red? Some kind of gear like that. I get it. You the hobbies go upward. Hobbies stay flat. Hobbies. Yeah. Everybody should be able to do what they think is best for them.
I think that I'm just fucking weird. Because this is why. I think that I just have a very bizarre want for a need for knowledge that I don't always focus on what I need, but I mostly focus on what I'd like to learn. And so, for instance, I have cameras that are 4 times the price of this, but I'm still sitting there watching Canon R10 reviews or Nikon Z30 reviews that are new consumer grade cameras because I'm just curious, hey, here's the newest thing from a company that I like. I'm interested. I just want to learn about it, Yeah. And so I don't really understand if I have microphones that are as much as the Telefunken expensive microphones, but it doesn't mean I still don't want to try out a little bit more budget options just for other situations and also just to learn where we're at base level, and you can also see a lot of progression. Like, if you see a new beginner item, you're like, okay, I can kind of see where this company is going now. And maybe when it gets to my level where they're going to upgrade, I can kind of get a hint of what they're going to do with it. And that's what I look at. I like looking at that. So, yeah.
Yeah. I love, the information is just vital, especially when it comes to techie stuff. Like, I watched I don't know if he's even released a video. It was on Facebook or something, but the Unbox Therapy guy unboxed and used a Samsung monitor that was huge and curved, but also could flip upright, and you could split it into 3 screens, your game,
that's dope.
It was so cool. And I watched that and I was like, I'll never own that, but it doesn't matter. I want to know about it. I want to know about it. Same thing with watching, somebody debut a $3,000 microphone. I don't ever plan on ever spending that much on a microphone, no matter how into this I get, but I want to know about it.
Yeah. The most I've done is rented microphones of that stature, and
it depends. My dream mic is the Earthworks, something 33. Can't remember exactly, but it's the gray end address condenser that almost looks handheld size. I want that, but I don't do anything to justify owning that. If I did more things like you have done, like record bands, if I make money with these things, not just a little, but a living, then
yeah.
SV. Give me a $3,000 mic.
Right.
SV33.
Yeah. SV. Yep. I'm very much into the idea that if you spend $3,000 on a microphone and $1,000 on a microphone, that difference is probably anywhere from 15 to 5% quality bump. And so I'd rather live in the area where I'm I spent quite a bit and I got the sound that I wanted, but I'm not fucking hating myself for spending 3 times the amount of money to get 5 to 15% better sound.
Right. And audio is in the eye of the beholder. So if it's 5 to 15% better to you, but no one else, like, why did you throw the money away?
Exactly. Well, and I'd also hope that I could get that difference in post. And I do also like, being able to experiment a little bit in post. I'm not saying you can't do that if you spend a lot on a microphone. Obviously you can.
Right.
But I kind of like the idea where I would record a band when I very first started with a $200 microphone, and people would be like, "Oh my God, like, where was this recorded?" Like, and I'd be like, "Oh, like in my apartment." And they're like, "Oh, what microphone do you have?" And I'm like, "A fucking Rode NT1A." And they're like, "Oh," that was sick. Like, that was cool to me. But
yeah. I mean, most humans can't pick out what mic you're using unless it's me and it's his Ramo. But otherwise, but for real, there's some recordings that just sound sweet, and you find out what it was done with, and you're like, word?
Yeah, and it actually makes you almost appreciate it a little bit more, in my opinion, because I'm like, the work and attention to detail that was put in to make it sound that way, is awesome. But
yeah.
But then I do also understand, like you were saying, a band all playing together with amazing microphones and amazing equipment, and how it could also have a really amazing sound and feel to it and everything. So,
yeah,
different strokes for different dicks,
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Not all
dicks. That trickles down.
Yeah, not all dicks like being stroked the same way, bro.
No, some just like being punched.
Yeah, dude, that is a thing.
Yeah.
That's a thing. That's bizarre to me.
Yep. Just like a wacky inflatable flailing tube guy, just give the old 1-2. Watch it squiggle around. Yeah.
Dude, like, if that's your thing, dude, more power to you. Like, honestly, like, that's...
Again, Sheryl Crow said it best. If it makes you happy. If it makes you happy.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's just a rule of life. It's on page like 3 or 4 of the book, the Book of Life from us.
The Book of Mormon.
Yeah, that one. But that also trickles down too. You got me thinking, because I obviously I'm always going to be budget oriented, and I like to see what I can do with cheap stuff. But to me, in my experience since I was 16, not that I'm any good, but guitar is just like, I have owned Les Pauls. I have, owned PRS guitars. I've owned really nice guitars.
Mm-hmm.
The guitar's hanging in my studio right now.
Yeah.
Quote, because, is a first act electric guitar that I got used on Guitar Center for $20, and then the shipping pushed $50.
Okay.
Yeah. And it is a real guitar. It's a wooden reel, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
And an acoustic, a Yamaha acoustic that I think typically runs 129.
Yeah. I actually rocked a Yamaha acoustic guitar for a really long time. They're
good.
They're solid, man. Like,
they're good.
Very surprising.
I can make good guitar riffs on that first act. You know why?
Yeah.
Because processing, pedals, things like, I know that pickups make a big difference, and I know that you get higher quality materials, but look at Jack White. Some of my favorite guitar sounds of all time come from Jack White playing a hollow plastic guitar from Sears.
Or one that he like made out of fucking plywood or some shit,
block of wood, some nails, and some guitar strings.
Yep, absolutely. No, I totally get you. I'm actually in that boat a little bit too. I still use like the $500 to $1,000 guitars a lot of the time. I kind of like live in that range.
Oh, there's nothing like a PRS to me. Like, I love PRS guitars a lot, but do I want to own it? No, I'd rent it. I'd rent it for a studio session. I don't.
Yeah.
As far as like the way I play guitar, like the first act is fine.
Yeah. No, I think the most expensive guitar that I have, and I think that it actually kind of has gone up more because of what happened with Gibson and everything, but I own like a 07 Gibson SG that's all black, And like '07, they were using like really great premium stuff, and then they went into the whole counterfeit wood thing, and quality just it wasn't great. But I think that I paid like $800 for that, and I think it's worth like well over $1,000, I think, or something, but I can't remember. But not like insane, but still, like, I live in that, under $1,000 guitar world, and it does well. And I will change the pickups if I deem it necessary. But I do go for I do go for guitar feel over sound, because I do think that, I can change the pickup sound as long as I like the way the fretboard feels and that it's a decently nice fretboard. Yeah, dude, I'll go with that, and I'll change the pickups.
How fast is the action? Just there's a lot of factors, and you can find cheap guitars that have great feel to them, and you can find expensive guitars that have even better. It's just one of those things. Like I've bought so many cheap instruments and mostly sold them, because truth be told, most cheap instruments you get what you pay for, but sometimes you find that one, I have a Donner bass that feels and plays just like a Fender Jazzmaster. Dude, just like it.
I had a Donner bass too, bro, and I changed the pickups in it. I did have it for a long time.
That's all you need to do.
Yep.
That's on some of them.
Okay.
Some of them.
Shit. Actually, fuck. I forgot about my bass guitar. I do have a pretty nice bass guitar. Hold on. Let me look at this. Oh, yeah, my bass guitar is like $1,200. I got the Fender Geddy Lee jazz bass. It's incredible. Ooh, it's that's fucking nice, man. Oh my God. I love it. Yeah. Oh.
And see, there's some things that, like that Earthworks mic is on my list. I want to own it someday and keep it. Like there are things that you want, when I
for sure
eventually transition myself to drums, which I think I'm a drummer. I don't think I'm a guitarist or a bassist. I think I'm a drummer. And I will own a nice damn drum set. I'm not going to own a cheap drum set.
For sure.
So,
yeah.
There's things you pick and choose, what you spend money on, what's worth it, what's not.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All the way down to sex toys. You don't want to buy a cheap one.
Dude, that's okay. There are some things that quality matters, I agree. I agree,
Hear about all these people breaking their vibes. Probably not spending enough on one.
Yeah.
Buy a better vibe.
Buy a better vibe. Yeah. I like it. Yeah, dude. Let's see. Let's get a little bit more obscure with this.
I like that. Let's do it.
Did you hear about the Australian nightclub thing?
Don't believe so.
Okay, this is interesting. So this Australian nightclub called Club 77. So this is like the actual quote from the person. It says, "As a nightclub, we encourage you to interact with strangers. However, engagement must begin with verbal consent. This also applies if you are, for example, staring at someone from afar. If the attention you are giving someone is unwanted, that is considered harassment."
Staring?
They banned staring. Yeah. They banned staring.
Just in this club?
In this club, yeah.
Okay.
Club 77.
I do understand where gawking, staring can cause discomfort.
It's weird though, isn't it a weird line? Because like part of me is like, yeah. And then another part of me is like, huh, Yeah, it's very interesting.
It's like walking right up to the edge. It's sitting firmly at the top of the fence, and I don't know what side I'm on.
Yeah. I think that there's a chance that honestly I've stared at someone at, a place in general and just like, but I wasn't really meaning to. Like, sometimes you're just like sitting there looking over, thinking about something else, and you're just like looking at someone, not really fucking even thinking, I've done that. I space out a decent amount. And, dude, for that, I'd be like kicked out of that place. And I'm like, that's a little silly because it's hard to know someone's intention when it comes to, like what they're staring at or what they're doing or whatever. Dude, and also there's the chance that someone can abuse that it's very easy for someone just to be like, they're staring at me and they get kicked out, just kind of weird.
That's a strange one. I mean, I assume they've had issues, so they're like,
I think so
what?
too.
We're gonna
Yeah.
put a stop to this. But how do you prove that? How do
And
you
police
prove and
it.
report that? Like, they're
Yeah.
staring at me.
Dude, like, yeah, what goes into that? It's just such an interesting concept, man. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Now I want to go to Australia and pick their brains and find
Yeah,
out
just
what
be
happened
like-
at this place.
What's up? Yeah. No, dude, like, but I'm all for like people feeling comfortable and like people not needing to worry about what others are doing and thinking or whatever. Like, I'm all
Absolutely.
for that. I don't think that would fly in the US. What do you think?
No, probably not.
Yeah,
Especially right now, because we're torn between 1950 and 2020.
it's very true.
Like
That's very
we
true.
really are.
Yeah.
We're like, do we want women to make us a sandwich, or do we want women to actually do what they want?
Yeah,
And half
right.
of us are like,
Well,
they're humans, and then half of us are like, make me a sandwich, and I'm like,
Yep.
I want to kill you, you know,
Dude,
that kind of
those-
situation.
yeah. I have a really hard time. I mean, like, we've talked about this, like, where we are all for, you know, like, women's rights and women being, obviously, like, we believe in equality and
Humans' rights, yeah,
exactly,
being
exactly.
human.
And so, but yeah, it's very interesting. Like, I will never understand the person that feels like they, you know, like want to run another person's life, you know, like, yeah, go make me a sandwich, go do this, go do that, or whatever. Like, I think it's
Mental
very,
issues.
yeah. And I think it's very gratifying to like be in a relationship where you are equals and you both contribute and you both, you know, like, and it's like you actually feel like you're a part of a team and not just like you do this, I do this, end of it. Like that's,
Yep.
ugh.
You're simply broken if you think the way that, you know, you're broken.
Yeah.
Like either your parents broke you or an event broke you or something broke you.
Yeah.
You're broken. And we're
And
all broken a little bit.
I
but-
think so too. Yeah. We all have our things, our issues. Yeah, dude, I do have a really hard time with that. And I have a really hard time with like when women are not okay with it, but when women are like, yes, like that's my shit. Like I want to be put in my place and like make you a goddamn sandwich. When there's a woman that says that, like I know of one, I'm like,
me too. I'm confused.
I'm like, say fucking what, dude? Like I want more for you than you want for you. And that's weird. You know, like
That
that's
is
a
weird.
weird thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very strange. Now there's different levels of that, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's some people want to be dominated.
But I guess behind closed doors, I guess, I mean, fuck, I don't know.
Yeah, but not in, you know, not dominated on a political front. Like, oh, this is the way it should be. I am less than, you know, that kind of thing.
Yes.
What was it? What was the other thing? I'm sure the Australian nightclub wasn't the. What did you have anything else written down? 'Cause
Yeah,
you got me curious.
There wasn't any like current events or anything, but there was something that I had going on that I was like, dude, I'm curious, just like what if Bark has anything like this. So like I have like a very irrational fear of dentists. And as I've told you, like I've gone to dentists like recently, and dude, my anxiety is just like at an all-time high when I know the day before I've got to go to a dentist, and then like the minutes before I'm like, what if I just like fucking don't go? Like I'm like struggling. My wife has to be like, did you actually go? And I'm like, man, yeah. But I also, when I was younger, I had like a very, very irrational fear of sharks. Like, but irrational as fuck though. Like I was scared to shower. Dude, I was like, but I mean, this was when I was like very young, but I was like, dude, some fucking shark is just going to make their way through this drain somehow. I think I watched it and I got worried. But did you have any, or do you have any like very irrational fears?
Oddly enough, I think I've kicked it for the most part, but for the longest time, also had a massive fear of dentists.
Dude,
Just did not like to go. Anxiety, you know, on high. But the same goes for doctors. Like basically anyone who can deliver me bad news about my health, I have an irrational fear of. because, I have impending doom syndrome, like fully. Yeah. I definitely have impending doom syndrome. Like if I feel a certain twitch or something, like, here comes the big one, or, I got cancer, or, I just have that irrational, because life is so good for the most part. Like I don't want anything to interrupt it. So going to a doctor's like, oh, they're just going to interrupt my life by telling me that I've got something, and
dude, I get that fear. Like I get that fear for sure. So you're kind of like a hypochondriac then?
Not just about that stuff. Like without going to the doctor.
Yeah.
I feel as healthy as I can be. And if a leg cramp or this or that happens, like I know that just the rigors of life, but actually going, like I've got myself convinced that like, if there is something wrong with me, cause I've got this big, huge satisfaction with my immune system and stuff. Like I haven't been sick in like a decade. Like I just don't get sick.
Wow. Ever. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people like that. Yeah. I know a lot of people that also haven't been sick for like a decade, but I've got it ingrained in me that like, oh, even if a cancer cell does start, like my body will just kick its ass. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Like
it'll be fine.
I'm so fucking hard that dude, cancer ain't got shit on me, bro.
Yeah, man. I'm like walking patient zero on how to cure the world. Like if you just take my blood, everything can be cured.
Yeah.
But knowing that that's not even close to accurate and anything can happen at any time, but I don't think about it much until I have some kind of appointment or something scheduled, and then I start getting that irrational fear. It's getting bad though. It's not anything crippling, but like I drive less than I used to because there's more. I see like the road I live on, I hear sirens almost on the daily.
Dude.
And there's a lot. There's been a lot of accidents on the road because I hate to sound old, but like, everybody texts and drives, everybody's watching videos and driving, everybody's doing, and I have an irrational, maybe it's rational, but I have a fear of staying put instead of putting myself in harm's way more than I should. Like now it's like I'm only leaving if it's a necessity. Like I've owned motorcycles. I've rode motorcycles for like the past 15 years. And I sold my last one a couple years ago, more like 3 or 4 years ago. And I'm pretty sure I'm never going to buy another one because the risk is not worth it anymore.
Yeah. No, I got you. Yeah, dude. I think that my wife has an irrational fear of traveling, like especially cars though. But then again, like I guess it's not irrational. I guess the only irrational part is how scared you get. So I mean, like me, so I guess that like being worried about car accidents is a pretty rational fear in the sense that like that shit does happen all the time, Right. But did you ever have like for instance, dude, like cannibalism, like that shit? I have a very, very irrational fear that like I'm gonna be eaten.
Apparently from the shark thing,
dude. Right.
I would say the only thing that borders on ridiculous for me is heights. I have an irrational fear of heights.
Yeah.
Like the point to where my wife wants to go parasailing, which is so damn safe, honestly. Mm-hmm. You're above water. If you fall, you might get hurt from smacking the water, but chances are you won't.
Yeah.
I have an irrational fear of heights. 100%. Like one of the last companies I worked with, I can't talk. We went to like one of these places where you zip line and you climb stuff and you're harnessed and like, nope, no,
yeah,
no. Yeah. And it's only like up in a tree. Like it's up like, no, no, I didn't do it. People cracked on me and I was like, don't care. Not doing it.
Yeah, dude. No, I actually do have a fear of heights also. Mine usually comes from like if I'm on a tall building looking down, I get like a dizzy spell and I'm like, nope, this isn't good.
Yeah.
But as far as like parasailing, I think I'd be more worried about parasailing and a fucking shark comes up and grabs my ass.
That makes sense from what you said earlier. Yeah.
No.
I bet if you've seen it, one of the scariest movie scenes of all time for you is the 1960s or maybe it was 70s Batman. Have you seen the old Batman with the movie with Adam West?
I don't think so. No, I really don't think so.
Okay, so there's a part in the movie where he is climbing up a ladder into the Batcopter,
Okay.
Like the Batcopter comes, picks him up off the Joker and the Penguin, the enemy's ship, because they're on a battleship out to sea. And that Robin comes in with the helicopter and picks him up, rolls the ladder down, the rope ladder. And Batman, Adam West, crawling up the ladder, is crawling up the ladder, and a shark comes up and attaches to his leg. Yeah,
What?
but the shark comes up and attaches to his leg. He's punching the shark. The movie's so awesome that you can hear the thuds of the rubber when he's punching the shark. And then he tells Robin to throw him down the shark repellent. So Robin hangs upside down on the ladder and reaches the shark repellent to him, and he's punching the rubber shark, and it's so obvious that it's rubber, but it's the best scene ever. But he sprays the shark repellent and punches it, and it falls off and explodes when it hits the ocean.
Dude, man,
it's great.
Have to see this. Oh my gosh.
It's wonderful. The whole movie's wonderful, but that might scare you a little bit. The shark comes up and attaches to his leg, and his leg, no blood. Shark was hanging from it, but no blood. Just, he's fine.
No, dude, I think that one of the things that it makes sense. This all makes sense because I think that I was subjected to a couple things when I was a little too young, and they fucked with me hard. The Jaws ride at Universal. I went on that when I was really young, and there's the part where it pops out at your shit, and so I think that that's where the shark fear came in. Also, I did see Jaws at a very, very young age also, but then my fear of being eaten, this is going to make me sound like such a pussy. Even though pussies are they're the strongest things. This is going to make me sound like such a wimp, I should say. This is going to make me sound like a wimp, but the Michael Jackson Thriller video fucked me up, bro. When I was real young.
It's a little creepy.
When I was really young.
It's a little creepy.
I was like, oh, I'm going to get eaten one day, and Michael Jackson's going to be laughing his little ass off eating my fucking leg, That's what I thought. And it's still not impossible. But
no,
yeah, dude.
I guess it's not. That makes sense to me, though.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me. That's a creepy video.
Dude, Thriller messed with me, man. Yeah. I actually think that last night I watched one of the goriest movies I've ever seen.
What was it?
It was jacked up. Game of Death. I can't say I recommend it, but it was brutal, dude. And I don't know, just the complete lack of empathy for humans in this movie is just rough, man.
That would mess with me.
Yeah.
Psychological stuff messes with me so much more than physical.
Yeah. It's honestly, it borders satirical though, I will say, because it is so outrageous and the way that these people are responding is outrageous. But I don't know, man, I'm going to sound old saying this, but there is such a lack of empathy and sympathy with newer, younger generations, and
yeah, well, that's because they've learned communication online.
Yeah,
they don't see the hurt that can happen. It's you're hidden from it.
Yeah, that's very true. That makes sense. And so I don't know, seeing these young people doing fucked up stuff like this, even though it wasn't that long ago that I was their age, it seems I mean, I guess I don't know, 10. 50, well, no, dude, I'm old as shit. So they are probably 17-year-old, 18-year-olds, and that was 13 years ago for me, So I mean, but dude, yeah, just seeing young people be that way, I honestly get kind of grossed out because I'm maybe, dude, who knows?
Yeah, because there's an element of realness. Because but I mean, not to keep going down this path of doom and gloom, but
yeah,
look at all the shootings and everything that's happened in the past few years, which this stuff's always been happening. Yeah. This is one thing I hate. Everybody's oh, everything is increased and da-da-da. And yeah, it has, and it is increasing all the time, but it's not some kind of just explosion of this stuff.
No,
we have, it's just in our faces. It's in our faces that this happens. But the scariest part of it is it's almost always, I shouldn't say almost always, but most of the shootings recently have been younger folks, have been between 17 and 25 who have grown up behind a computer and grown up in, just this new virtual environment that we live in. And it's like, yeah, I mean, when you're going through a pandemic in 2020 and you already lacked any kind of social interaction, and then it got cut off even more, like that is fucked with so many people.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
so many minds.
Yep.
And like, you think, how could someone go out and shoot up a school? And you're like, if they've never seen a situation that requires empathy,
dude, that's true. Yeah.
How are they going to, I mean, if you don't have a heart because you've never been shown what pain is, besides your own, what's stopping you? What's stopping you from inflicting your pain on others? Like, not much.
Well, and that's like, and that even comes into question where like a lot of the time where stuff like that happens, not even specifically shootings, but just like when bad stuff happens, a lot of the time we do think about, mental illness, and which is, I totally get, like, obviously that is definitely a thing that happens, but we're almost like breeding people to have mental illness. Like, that as fucked up as that sounds, like,
that's what it seems like.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's very odd. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why, again, I'm going to sound old, and I utilize this stuff. We're doing a virtual thing right now, even though it's face to face. I mean, this is pretty similar to me sitting there with you.
Yeah. This is intimate. Yeah. I feel like this is intimate.
Is.
Yeah,
it is. But the social media thing, like, it's just like, it's befuddling. Like, sometimes I'll see something and I'll be like, okay, I got to see the comments on this. Yeah. And I dive into the comments and I'm like, God, why did I do that?
Yeah.
Like, why did I do that? It's like Mad Max in there. It's like a barren wasteland. It's terrible.
It's true, like, man.
This is where people are spending the bulk of their time. And it's like, of course your brain's going to be fucked.
Dude, it's so true, man. Oh, yeah. I'm like, I don't know. I'm one of those people that it's funny, and it's like, there's some irony in it, but like, I really try not to, be on social media like at all personally. Like, everything that I do that's related to social media in any way, shape, or form has to do with Audio Hotline or like another business that I'm working for helping. Like, it never comes down to me being like, I'm about to go place my personal opinion on this, like, or like comment. I'm not looking at people's stuff personally. You know what I mean? Like, and that actually, I don't know, like, I think that it's been really healthy for me, but then I also understand how a lot of people are like, oh, like, I just moved to a different town and I don't have any friends, and like, I at least get to keep in touch with my old friends. And I'm like, dude, you know what? If I want to keep in touch with my old friends, I like call them or shoot them a text and we hang out, like, I don't,
right.
I don't rely on, like, a lot of the time I just feel like I pretend that it's like the 1980s, even though I wasn't born then.
I am so that person. Like, me and my wife were watching, what were we watching? We were watching something, and it was from the 90s, and I just looked at her, I was like, I'm going to sound so old, but Simpler Times.
Dude, right?
Simpler Times.
Simpler times,
just
man.
So good. It was so good. I think about growing up and like riding my bike, my BMX or free, just learning just God. I think about that stuff and I'm like, I would have loved to see my 20-year-old, well, it'll be 20 in October, do some of this stuff, but instead he is part of that online generation. So it's like his X Games is Xbox.
Yes.
It's tough to see, but at the same time, it's like, that's just where we are. But I feel bad for anybody who doesn't get to experience that 80s and 90s upbringing. Like, because technology it's cool. It's awesome. I like it as much as the next person, but it does suck. But again, it comes down to a choice. Like, you have the choice. You don't have to sit on Twitter and argue about every little thing. Like, you could go find a hobby and do it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I just don't know what the factor is. What's the factor that pushes one person one way or the other?
I just think that the fear of truly showing yourself and being open isn't really on social media at all. You know, like you can make whatever life you want people to believe you have. And I think that I think that some people feel like they have to do that because they see all these other people doing that. And they're like, well, their life is so much better than my actual life. And it's like, hey, guess what? That's not their actual fucking life. So,
correct.
And I think
some people, it is their life. Their life is to be fake on social media.
That's very true, actually. Yeah,
that's super
very
fucked up.
true.
I know way too many people like that.
Like your neighbor, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, dude, I feel you. I don't know, man. I guess that life can be less hurtful online because you're keeping everyone at arm's length, you know? But
if you're on there being fake, you know, if you're on there, because it's really easy to think out what you're going to say on there or think out what you're going to portray yourself as, and in person, it's a lot less easy because
you just say it,
you know, you just say it or you do it or your facial expression, you know, facial expressions give everything away.
Yeah, dude, I know it's like wild to me when I see like younger people like out at dinner and they're just like all on their phone the whole entire time they're like at dinner and say like 10 words to each other. Like my wife and I like always make it a point to like not check our phone unless it's like an absolute emergency, you know, like we do not do that, you know, but
right.
Yeah, dude.
And I will say I'm guilty. I look at mine way too much. I catch myself like just
it's
looking
true,
at,
dude.
but it's not typically social media. I'm typically reading articles and reading, you know, about new gear and reading about bands and music, and very rarely am I looking at what Joe Bob down the street is doing because I don't give a fuck what Joe Bob down the street is doing.
Yeah, that's basically that's basically where I'm at too.
Which
like
means I don't expect anyone to give a fuck about what I'm doing.
And that's fine, dude. I would rather it be that way, like straight up. Like I don't need everyone to wonder what I'm doing. And like honestly, I think my personal Instagram, I think the last time that I posted,
you never post. Yeah, you don't post, and that's it's about moderation. You moderate yourself very well.
Yeah, dude. I don't know, man. I just don't really understand the appeal, and I think that March 19th, my birthday, 2020. Holy hell. Nice.
And that's funny because technically you should be all about this stuff.
I know.
It is people 30 and under that's all about this stuff.
I know, man. It's true. I should be. I don't know. I've never really enjoyed a lot of it. I've never really enjoyed.
Not much to enjoy.
And I think that was a big part of it too, is like, especially in college, I like noticed just how fake everyone was. And like, I would sit there and talk to them and then they'd portray themselves a different way on social media. And I'd be like, fuck this, man. This is stupid. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. And what good is attention if it's fake attention? Because that's what everyone does. You know, you post something, everyone says thoughts and prayers. Like, dude, you think they're kneeling right in front of their bed at that exact moment and giving you prayers? No. You know, just no. I gotta send you a comedy clip later, actually, because it's wonderful. But it's just a place to escape your real life. And it's
totally agree.
Fuck you, Zuckerberg.
I know, man. I know.
Bastard. It's not even his fault. You know, that same thing with guns. You know, you choose what to do with them. You choose what to do with all this stuff. You choose what to do with tools.
You do.
You know, it's up to you. Now, granted, they push certain ways. You know, they could. You know, things are pushed and they capture upon the weaker minded. Think for yourself.
Yeah.
Think for your damn self.
Dude, that comes down to microphones too, man. You know?
Nailed it.
Think for yourself.
That's right. Think for yourself. You want an Earthworks, get you an Earthworks. You want a Fi-Fine, get you a Fi-Fine.
And if you don't like people using 32-bit float, you're over 50 years old.
Yeah. Probably correct.
Any other thing you want to mention? Me
and you, we did talk about, like, you know, we want to take this live on each channel soon, just to kind of to make people a little more aware of what we're doing here, because I think we have a good time doing it, and most of our subscribers or watchers, you know, they found something they like about us, so maybe they would enjoy this little joint production. I do want to remind anyone that is watching it, this is an actual podcast. It is available on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon,
Absolutely.
Music, all those places. So you can just listen. You don't have to watch it. And I've definitely discovered that podcasts on YouTube perform horribly compared to podcasts on audio. You know, it's just...
Yeah. We get way more downloads than we do, views on YouTube.
As it should be.
For sure.
That's a podcast. I mean, that's, that is a podcast. And I would like to invite everyone, if I could, just to I want to do something nice here, because I just, and maybe I'm going out of line by trying to do this, but there is a YouTuber that I want to direct some attention towards. So if 26 people watch this, then one of them might go there. But this dude, he is Strife's Sanctum on YouTube, STRIFES Sanctum. And it's a podcast. If you like video games, it's a podcast. This dude has been plugging away for 4 months, still going to this day, no subs at all.
Damn.
And that's because it's a podcast. It's because it's a podcast on YouTube. He probably doesn't have it posted anywhere else, but maybe check that out. If you're a video game person, pay it forward a little bit, show someone a little bit of love. Cause it is starting out on YouTube, as this channel is proving, you don't just jump out of the gate and get monetized or even close. Like you and I, between us, tens of thousands.
Yeah,
exactly. Actually 20. Between the two of us.
Yeah.
Three quarters of which is yours, more than 3/4. But you take those two bases and throw a new channel out there, and
still
26.
26, bro.
26. And it's not about growing anyways, but it just goes to show that it is difficult. Like, Bandrew has a podcast on there, and his 297,000 subs on podcasts, it translates to
like under
13?
10K. Oh, I was thinking
is it under 10?
Oh, actually, I think it did go over. I think it did go over 10. I think you're right, but it was under 10K for a long time, though. I mean,
I got to look now.
But he's been doing it for years too. Yeah, it's true, man.
Yeah, very consistently. 9.11. You're right. 9.11 thousand subs. That's podcasts on YouTube for you. Like you can take 300K and get 9 out of it.
Yeah.
And it's just based off the fact that it's a podcast and it's on YouTube. YouTube's not for podcasts, but we're putting it here because we want to, and we want to see each other's lovely faces. But you can go check out the audio form and just put it in your car and go.
Word.
Yeah.
Word. Yeah. I think that a big part of just posting it on here is it's a little bit easier for us to share on our own stuff. And there are people that like live on their YouTube and like that's where they consume content. That's fine. So we don't want to not have those people, or not, give those people the podcast.
And why not
also
be there for everyone, you know? I do the same thing with the Stuck on My Generation podcast. I post the video form because maybe someone enjoys that.
Yep. Well, and actually depending on a topic, like I know that some other people do, like video podcasts, and if they do have that available, and like depending on the topic, and if I would start listening to it, I'm like, you know what? I'd actually rather watch this one. I kind of want to see, like their facial expressions or whatever other thing they show. And so like I kind of get, both sides of it, but I definitely.
And some folks put everything on the screen.
Yeah.
Like, what they're looking up, and like, I don't listen to Joe Rogan, but if you do listen to Joe Rogan, they pull a lot of stuff up on the screen, on the video form, and some things you don't want to miss, But
yeah, thank you all for watching this episode of the Obscure Hotline. It's not technically the Obscure Hotline, just Obscure Hotline, but I just say that. I don't know why.
We'll say it how we want.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll say it how we want.
But thank you all for listening to this and letting us be up in you, and we'll see you, or we'll talk to you soon. Yeah. Once again, I'm Bronson.
Up in you.
Yeah.
I'm Bark.
And fucking see you later.